Hello, elegant listeners, and welcome back to Go My Favorite Sports Team, the podcast that's going to tell you all about the World Cup, even if you didn't watch it.
That's
like
right.
This guy.
What?
Like this guy right here. And like that guy right there tells me it's my turn to do the intro, and then he just starts blabbing.
Sorry, I thought it was my turn to
No, it wasn't.
start. Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
I'll sit quietly and
Yeah,
patiently.
you sit quietly and think about what you've done.
Yep.
Anyway, like I said, I didn't watch the World Cup. I don't think anybody did. I don't think soccer's a real sport. I don't think anyone actually cares about it. I think it was a big flop. Anyway, that's our podcast episode. Thank you all so much for attending. You can find me at Markiplier. Remember to use my promo code for GoPros, MARKIPLIER.
Anyway,
Right.
I was waiting for you to tell me when I could talk.
No, why would I do that?
Oh, you're right. Even though you told me to sit there and wait patiently. I totally get it. I
told you to think about what you did.
Oh, that's true. I said I'd wait patiently. That's what makes sense. No, but there are plenty of people that were very interested in yelling at us for not talking about the World Cup before it happened and when it started, because we had recorded episodes before it occurred. So I had already had this plan at the end of the major event to do a recap.
Are we not allowed to say World Cup?
We can say World Cup. It's not like the Super Bowl. It's not coined.
I don't know.
It's the FIFA World Cup.
There's a lot of advertisements that I say. Like, there's like, are you ready for the big match? The big match?
The big game.
No, they don't say that.
They can't even say game either.
No,
well,
that's what they say for the Super Bowl. But they call it like, are you gearing up for the big match? Do you have your snacks for the big match?
I feel like they could come up with something other than big instead of like mega match or no, that sounds weird.
That's a lottery thing.
Oh, that's true. Mega is a lottery thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, so the World Cup happened, and we're going to run through a recap of kind of everything that went on with the World Cup so you can be prepared for next time the World Cup occurs. By the way, this sport is soccer, even though it is called football mostly around the world. The reason it is called soccer in the United States and Australia is blame the English.
Why?
We talked about it in the soccer primer. It's because football originally was the name for two separate sports. It was rugby and football. To separate and distinguish the two, they started calling the one that became rugby, rugger. And the other one they called a soccer, which was an abbreviation of association football. And it became soccer. And when they brought it over to Australia and the United States, it was called soccer. And hence, when the U.S. decided to create their own sport that kind of combined both of these sports together in a way, it became called American football. And the English decided, no, we can go back. It's called football now because rugby is rugby. Or rugger is rugby, so now it's football, and then they yell at everybody else for calling it soccer.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. I didn't know that. Man, I wish I had paid attention during that primer.
Yeah, sometimes I wish you would pay attention a little bit more, because that particular fact is a really good one. That one is a conversation starter, and like when somebody yells at you about football, you can be like, oh, but no.
Nope.
Exactly.
I don't remember anything about it.
Wow. Anyway, the FIFA World Cup happened, hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico this year. Played in 16 different stadiums, 11 in the U.S., 3 in Mexico, 2 in Canada. In the U.S., it was in Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Miami, New York / New Jersey. Really, the stadium's in New Jersey, so New Jersey. Philadelphia, San Francisco Bay Area, which really it's significantly south of San Francisco, and Seattle. In Mexico, it was in Guadalajara, Mexico City and Monterrey, and in Canada, Toronto and Vancouver.
I love the way you count. It was in Guadalajara, Mexico City, and then you went back to 2. I don't even remember the third one because I was trying to follow your fingers and it just didn't work. Monterey, yeah.
With the group stages taking place June 11th through June 27th, decided who would make it to the round of 32. Now, this was the first year that it was 32 teams that made it instead of the usual, was it 16? Did they double it? Because it's a multiple of 2. So it'd be 16. From 16, it would have to go up to 32. So I guess it was 16 the previous year.
16 times 2 is 32. Yes, that is true.
Essentially, they added some teams that finished third in their group to then make it into the elimination tournament. Now, of those group stages, in Group A, Mexico and South Africa made it. Only 2 from this group made it, and it was all based on points. So if you look over here on the right-hand column, you earn points by wins and by ties. Losses, I believe, do not give you any points. So you can see a draw, as they call it, is 1 point. A win, I believe, is worth 3. So then there's goal differential. Goal differential that then helps with seeding as well when places tie. So Switzerland won their group, but Bosnia made it in by tying with Canada, but you can see in the goal differential, that's why Canada ended up making it out, even though they were tied in score.
Because they made more goals.
Correct.
Okay.
Then you had Brazil and Morocco make it out of Group C, the United States, Australia, and Paraguay out of Group D, Germany, Ivory Coast, I don't know how to say it, and Côte d'Ivory.
d'Ivoire. You're French. You should know that.
I don't think Ivory Coast is not French.
Côte d'Ivoire. It looks French.
Is it French? Am I wrong?
Look at that.
I guess it kind of does look French.
I'll look up. He doesn't even know his own.
I don't know.
I got to look it up for him. Some French guy you are.
Ivory Coast, French?
Let's see.
Portuguese?
Let's see. Yeah, official language is French, yes.
Oh, all right. It is
but
French.
The ethnic group is Ivorian.
Ivorian. Good to know. And Ecuador made it out as the third seed of that group. Netherlands, Japan, and Sweden made it out. Sweden is another one of the 3 seeds that made it. Belgium and Egypt made it out of Group G. Spain, Cabo Verde in Group H. France, Norway, and Senegal in Group I. Argentina, Austria, and Algeria out of Group J. Colombia, Portugal, and Congo, Dominican Republic in Group 3. I believe that's what DR stands for.
You might have said it, but why did some of them have 3 people out of the group?
So because of the round of 32, they had to add people out of a third place out of the number of teams that were invited. So they had to have a few third place teams make it in because they didn't have enough to make another group or how they qualified. So that's how they made it. And they were looking at the points scored and goal differential to pick those teams out of certain groups. So after the top 2 of every group always make it.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, it came down to overall point score between the third place teams in every group and goal differential from that point on if they tied. So Ghana made it out of Group L. So all the way to L, there were a lot of groups, each group 4 teams.
Yep.
So 32 teams made it to the tournament, and this is what the bracket looked like. So you can see all of them lined up before matches started. So basically, the elimination tournament started on June 28th, with the final occurring on July 19th in New Jersey, New York. Seeding is based off of group placement. So the way that it works is the number 1 seed will play a number 2 seed from another group, traditionally. The thing that threw a wrench in this one is the number of occasional 3 seeds that made it in there. They were always paired up as a winner of a group. In the round of 32, only 1 stadium was not used, and that was the stadium in Guadalajara, Mexico. Quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals all took place exclusively in the United States. So those are the main things as far as like the overview of what happened, where places were played, the teams that made it, and so on and so forth. So now we get into the major stories.
Okay.
And one of the most interesting ones for me, while we are not sponsored by these brands, they did something very unique. So because FIFA has specific sponsors, anybody who didn't sponsor the FIFA World Cup had to cover up their logos at certain stadiums. So like in Boston, Foxborough Stadium was named Gillette Stadium. And so Gillette, being told to cover it up, decided to cover it up to look like shaving cream.
And what's funny is those stadium seats look like a razor blade.
Yep.
That's pretty smart.
But they weren't the only one. In fact, they were the least clever of all of them. This was the only thing they really did.
I see what Tyler's doing here also. We love you, Gillette. We love you, brands. Hey, why don't you come sponsor this podcast? Oh, we love you.
We grow facial hair and do, in fact, shave on occasion.
I haven't shaved in 20 years. You could be my first.
Oh my gosh, we could have a whole shaving sport created just for you, and we could cover it.
I won't go that far. I'll literally just shave my face.
I bet you there is some sort of shaving sport, like they put shaving cream on a balloon to work with like barbers to help them make sure they don't cut faces, and so there's probably a race. I could see that.
I don't see it at all.
I could see it.
Anyway, that doesn't help us make money.
No, but not only Gillette, we love you and you should sponsor us, but also Levi's and Heinz ketchup. So Levi's Stadium had to cover up as well. Mm-hmm. The thing that they did is they went the extra mile and had trucks driving around doing nothing to see here.
The redacted statement.
In fact, they changed their logos on all their social media.
Stadium.
Huh?
You said statement.
Wasn't I talking about nothing? I don't know when I said it.
You said the redacted statement. Stadium.
Redacted Stadium turned into a redacted logo that they used as marketing across all their social medias and with trucks driving around the actual stadium saying nothing to see here.
Uh-huh.
This is a form of ambush marketing. It is skirting the line of like basically acting like you're affiliated but not, but very much obvious that they are not. They're clearly saying not a sponsor. Uh-huh. And Levi's Stadium did it really, really well.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't just Levi's. In all the stadiums, we have ketchup and food and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of those logos had to be removed. Mm-hmm. All the Heinz logos removed.
Which is so funny. It's so funny how marketing works in business and how rights and how everything is controlled down to the tiniest little detail. But yeah, this is smart. Of course, do this. Yes.
Yeah. And so then Heinz has everything covered. And so Heinz also did a similar thing to Levi's and started making the blank logo a part of their marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely not Levi's messaging around the stadium.
What did Heinz do?
Heinz essentially did just the logo thing and used the covered logo. So you see here on the machine, like they're all blank. Did you see that?
No, I didn't notice it. See, this is why you got to hire me to do these kind of things for you.
See how it's blank? That's just colors.
That's barely noticeable. I didn't even notice because it still says Heinz up at the top.
Yeah.
Heinz, listen, let me tell you how to do it. This is what you do. Pause that. You change your label machine and sell bottles with blacked out things on them. Then get it on store shelves and people will be like, whoa, that's fucking weird. Why is that all redacted there? It doesn't have to be all your stores. It just has to be some of your stores so that people can take video of it and go there. Find one or two stores. Next time this happens, call me. And this is my idea. You can't use it because if you use it, I will sue you for the amount of money that you spent on it.
Yeah, you should pay him to be able to use it. You have to buy mark out.
Literally. The reason that worked is because they owned what it was in real life. You don't just like, oh, look at our Heinz machine. It's got nothing on it. No, sell a bottle with a big old censor bar on it. Make people think it's like a Japanese hentai. There's all the dicks all censored out, and it's just huge throbbing bottle with big black bars all over it.
You could even not even fully censor out the name. You could literally censor it, just be H, and then the rest is censored or something like that.
No,
as well.
It doesn't even do that. You got to own the full thing because the thing about it is it's eye catching that they're all blacked out.
Oh,
That's what's interesting. You have to copy that directly.
Well, and then it kind of has an exclusivity. Then everybody's trying to get the blacked out bottle. You remember like Fallout had Nuka-Cola like in the actual stores.
No, I don't know. But
okay,
sure,
that was the whole thing, and people. It was a limited edition item, and it was just regular cola. I don't remember who they worked with. I think it was probably Coke.
Yeah.
And then people went out of their way to buy that just because it was exclusive, and so many people didn't drink it that it's probably all just rotting in the bottle now.
Yeah, probably. Just like the real Nuka-Cola.
So that was like the big brand thing, and that plays into what my actual focus in my degree was marketing and PR around sports. So I'm always fascinated by this, and this has always been something that I've been very intrigued by. So I wanted to focus on this because I found it interesting.
Pay us money.
Yes.
Pay us money.
Anyway, moving on. The other interesting thing about this World Cup is the new soccer ball. Mm-hmm. Now, every year they introduce a unique soccer ball, and usually a soccer ball is made up of traditional octagons. Mm-hmm. I think. Is it octagons or hexagons? It is hexagons. I second guessed myself and said octagons, and it's hexagons.
That's all right.
So normally a soccer ball is traditionally made out of hexagons. As you can see, this one has this weird like swirl shape to it.
Yeah.
All the pieces have that. And so the physics of the ball was very unique.
That's what I was thinking.
Those aren't published, but a group of scientists did independent tests. They compared the physics between this soccer ball and all the previous ones, and it's actually really, really cool.
2010, the Jabulani was famous. Goalkeepers hated it especially. move around weird.
Yeah,
So
the way it worked
alongside
within the
the
airflow, it
There's
became a
a
lot harder
fundamental
to
physics reason
figure
why it
out
moves
the
weird.
direction.
Main thing is drag. It's always proportional to the velocity squared because you're hitting the air molecules, so you're transferring momentum, and also there's more stuff that you're hitting the faster you go. So that's why you get a v squared. It's also proportional to the area, the density. And then there's the drag coefficient, having to do with the surface of the object and the shape. Naively, you would think that the drag coefficient shouldn't depend on how fast I'm going. The effective velocity is already in that equation.
For, right.
But there is a nonlinear effect on the coefficient itself. Turns out the drag coefficient drops suddenly when there's higher speed.
That's
At
weird.
higher speed, it's easier to go through. So you can see in the wind tunnel tests why this is happening. Your laminar flow of the really nice air is getting broken up and it's creating turbulent flow behind it. On the right-hand side, there's high pressure because it's sort of compressing air. Behind it, there's going to be low pressure. There's going to be a force backwards. There's like a pressure difference.
Yeah.
And that's going to cause some weird stuff.
Okay.
When the ball is not moving that fast, the wake is actually a lot bigger, which means that pressure difference is bigger. The drag force is going to be bigger. On the right-hand side, now you've got the ball moving faster. The faster you move, the more the laminar flow hugs the ball. And so your low pressure region is actually smaller, which means your drag has actually gone down. Faster you move, the drag actually goes down. This is why golf balls are not perfectly spherical. The left is a ping pong ball. There you can see a massive low pressure region. The golf ball, on the other hand, has these divots, and that creates turbulence to make that low pressure less of an effect so that it goes farther.
So, the interesting part about it, basically, the ball, when it has a faster movement to it, is actually going to have less drag, thus increasing the overall speed in which the ball is moving relative to eyesight. While as if it kicked slower, it has more drag and will move significantly slower because the drag coefficient is larger.
Okay.
And so when you have the ball spinning, based on the rate of spin and how hard you kick it, adjusts the curve in an exponential rate. So basically, this ball would move uniquely weird in that if it's kicked fast, the curvature would be different compared to another kick. Whereas traditional soccer balls, because of the seams all being symmetrical, has a uniform drag ratio. And therefore, the spin of the ball and the rate of the spin of the ball has a similar effect based on the speed and the movement and the spin. Whereas this one adjusts based on how fast the ball is going, so it's harder to read. The direction and the curvature, as well as how it's going to move, and the way that it'll move based on pressure zones within the air, based on the heat of the air, can make it kind of knuckleball a little bit different, making it harder for the goalie to follow.
Okay, so this new one was very different, right?
Yes. It had a significant variance in the drag based on the speed of the movement of the ball as well as the spin rate.
Well, what they're referring to, actually, the Jabulani ball was the 2010 World Cup ball.
Yeah, they're referring to the old ball, but they did a study that this ball also uniquely weird
Okay, got it.
and how that worked.
I see.
So because of the
That's
shape
whole
of the
point
ball,
of roughness on a soccer ball.
This now gets to the idea of why the Jabulani was so different, because we had this classic style and we tried to get all fancy.
If the ball is too smooth, there's going to
So
be a
this one's
transition.
too
ball is
smooth.
kicked at high
Right.
speed. But as it slows down, it's going to go from low drag coefficient to high drag coefficient, and it's going to start doing weird things.
Right. This is why with the Jabulani era, it would start going really fast, and then at the last minute,
it kind of curved off because the drag would change as it slowed.
That's exactly what these scientists saw in the wind tunnel measurements.
That's so
So on the
interesting.
y-axis is the drag coefficient.
Yeah.
On the x-axis is your velocity. All of the other balls are in the other colors from all the different other FIFA.
Yeah, and so that one was uniquely smooth. This ball had those weird hockey lines in it, so it had more seams. That's why it would, depending on the angle of the ball and how it was spinning, would move completely differently than if it was sitting in a different direction.
I see. So this World Cup was affected by that?
Yes, in a similar fashion, because, again, it had smoother surface area like the Jabulani, because the patches were bigger, they weren't hexagons, but it had these larger seams in this weird hockey shape. I'm curious what the future studies will be on this ball, but it had very unique movement that made it a little bit harder for goalies to track and get used to. Hence why we had a few higher score games this year than we did in past World Cups.
I see. Okay. Always good to change the ball right at the last minute. It's like if someone changed my mouse sensitivity or a different mouse entirely. Oh, suddenly you got to use a vertical drip one there. Oh, good luck.
Yeah. Just one of those things. It's no wonder when you get on my mouse, how much you're like, oh, what the hell is happening?
Well, no,
versus,
you have a freakish sensitivity. I don't understand that at all. It doesn't make any sense.
For me, it works. I just use my wrist.
You can't be accurate with that. It's impossible.
Are you trying to say I'm bad at shooter games?
Are you?
No. I'm not great. I'm pretty decent.
Maybe you could be great.
Yeah, well, I don't want to swing my arm all over the place. That's
That's what you're doing. You're just a little like, you got to use, this is much more stable than the,
Funnily enough, my wrist is more stable than my shoulder because of injuries, so.
Get a better shoulder.
You're right.
You shouldn't have injured your shoulder, dumb.
Let me just take yours. I'll take you to my doctor and we'll just do a shoulder
No,
transplant. You get mine, I get yours.
I'm not giving yours because I know mine's better.
Well, you'll have a longer arm.
So then I got one freakish arm. Yeah, man, that's not gonna help me.
It could. You don't know.
You didn't even see what I was doing. Just looked like I was jerking off in your mouth. But I was doing, and then I was going,
So this next story is a wombo combo. FIFA made an exception in their match against Mexico as they were playing at altitude in Mexico City to be able to use Viagra as a performance enhancer.
Low altitude, right?
Is it low altitude?
Yeah, it's like sea level. Oh no, wait, no, it's not.
I was gonna say it's like as high as I was gonna say.
I thought it was low. Wait,
no,
I thought it always flooded. Wasn't that the thing?
That's because it's a lake. It was built on a lake.
Oh,
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it's high altitude. So because of high altitude, England was complaining about having issues breathing. And so Viagra gave them an exception to combat that issue in Mexico. And this was in Mexico that they played.
How does it do that?
Basically, the way that Viagra works is it promotes blood flow. It doesn't necessarily promote blood flow to a specific area. It just generally promotes blood flow. And if your blood flow is moving faster as it picks up oxygen, you'll be able to reoxygenate your muscles faster.
That's why the commercials always say, don't take if you're taking blood thinners.
Yes.
Or something else, nitrates.
Yeah.
What do nitrates do?
Well, nitrates are another preventative for
And before
heart disease.
anyone says, oh, why is Mark getting commercials for Viagra? This is from TV like 15 years ago.
Also, it's
just
the
burned
United
into
States
my brain.
where ads are fucking on for drugs everywhere.
I have not seen recently Viagra ads. I haven't seen an ad in a very long time, actually, because I have YouTube Premium, which everyone shits on, but is the greatest thing. One of the best subscriptions you can get online, period.
Same with Twitch Turbo, if you watch streams. Anyway, watch me as I stream on Twitch. But this was an interesting conversation because a whole bunch of frenzy occurred around this because nobody else had complained. And England even laughed up the suggestion that they could use Viagra in their clash with Mexico in Mexico City. The game took place at the Azteca Stadium, which is 2,200 meters above sea level. And England had to deal with dizzy conditions.
What, only England? No one else did?
Only England had mentioned having issues in Mexico City. It was just talked about a lot. It was something the head coach of England has played down in the sense. He said, the information and the support didn't reach me. That is not true with regard to taking the drug to boost performance for his players.
One guy said that he
This
didn't?
is their coach, Thomas Schul. However, England veteran and former Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson made a tongue-in-cheek quip as he discussed how they had been dealing with the increased altitude. The 36-year-old said, well, the Viagra helps. I'm joking. It's a joke.
I was hoping you were going to say, meanwhile, the goalkeeper was saying, help! My boner won't go down! Oh, God! Oh, God! My erection! My 4-hour erection!
Wait! That's an extra appendage I can use to block things!
I don't think I want to be thrusting that out
I don't think
as
so
everyone's
either.
going for the ball.
But to combo with that, VAR was talked about in a significant way in the sense that a Belgian soccer player, Romel Lukaku, was circulating online showing him being offsides by his penis.
Hilarious. What is VAR?
Video assistant referee. It's like the balls and strikes, ABS.
Gotcha. Okay.
which is automated ball strikes.
How offside could he possibly have been? Probably like a close call, right?
So the image isn't official, but it's being used as criticism for VAR in the calls. And so I believe this shows it.
See, this is where I knew the Viagra conversation was going to go. Yes.
So there's a line here. You can see it's literally just his bulge.
But this isn't official.
This isn't official. But when they were talking about VAR and VAR being used in the World Cup, this is how precise they were starting to be in VAR in the World Cup. Like it was somebody's like ankle. It was somebody's hand like that they would call offsides. So it's not out of the question that VAR might literally go, well, he's offsides.
Well, but clearly this picture isn't real because his whole right leg is jutted out forward towards the line along with his right arm. But he also, his penis.
But he could be running like slightly angled. So, it's hard to say.
I still think that his whole leg would be farther ahead than his junk towards the way that line
unless he took Viagra.
No. No. I don't care what they say. The leg is longer than the penis. I will defend that to the end of my days. The average leg is longer than even the longest penis. All right? I'm just saying.
It's true.
I know it's controversial to say that.
Very controversial. Somebody's going to come out and be like, whoa, man, I got the one that isn't.
I don't care. I don't care. Just because you got a freakishly small leg doesn't mean the average has shrunk.
So this particular picture was an unofficial and used for criticism of the VAR calls because some of them were stupid. In my opinion, stupid. Ubiquitous calls of VAR were one of the great controversies of this year's World Cup. FIFA argues that it made the game fairer, with many fans and teams saying it's getting out of hand with how precise they're trying to be. For me, it needs to be significant torso. It shouldn't be an arm. It shouldn't be like 1 foot. It needs to be the general average of the location of the body is beyond that of the defender.
Yeah.
And this is also why, in my opinion, they should switch the offsides rule in soccer to be more like ice hockey, where it's a line. The ball has to cross that line before you can cross that line. At that point, it's fair game. Because at that point, in my opinion, the defenders have to be more aware of where the offensive players are to make sure that they are between them and the goal. And 2, it makes it less of a judgment call, and you can't use a strategy where players see where you are, run forward, and then make the offensive player have to run back to try and not be offsides, or the ref then having to be able to catch it.
I still don't understand the offsides rule, but I agree with you. It is stupid.
Basically, the ball has to be kicked before
I don't know.
Okay.
It'll make me mad.
So in a match, Iran versus Belgium, a goal was taken away because VAR determined an Iranian's butt was offsides. A few days later, a Colombian goal was annulled when an attacker's toe was offsides. So you're telling me that's not inaccurate. If somehow the rest of his body was backwards, if his junk was across the line, they might have called it.
Yeah, but that guy's whole leg.
Yeah, where
even his toe is ahead of the line.
I'm just saying, if a guy was standing there like dick out, like way in there, and he was just offsides by that,
everyone should keep it tucked in.
Yeah, VAR would call it.
That's what's retrograde anterior pelvic tilt. What is it? What do they call it? Where you got, is it anterior pelvic tilt?
Is it anterior or posterior?
Yeah, posterior pelvic tilt. Yeah, don't get posterior pelvic tilt up in here, okay?
But VAR was called into question when Egypt dominated a game, scored a second goal in the 67th minute, pointed to a questionable foul, other fouls that weren't called, and later led to Argentina winning. And there was a lot of interesting situations. Argentina, until the final, had 0 VAR decisions go against them. All VAR decisions were in their favor. 100%, which was very, very suspect. And it is why a lot of people felt like Argentina was put into the final because FIFA wanted them there, not because they necessarily earned it. And now Argentinian fans are arguing that the final was rigged against them for Spain to win as well. So Very interesting things. Egypt claimed that they were robbed. I think Norway's calls were really bad too, like a foul, but there also was some bad play by their players as well. But a number of things there. In other issues, there was an issue where a police officer confronted the Egypt national team and created a problem.
A problem.
I'll let you see for yourself.
Still going to play now. Yeah.
So this cop comes over and is confronting, I believe it's the Egypt coach, and that's an Egypt player taking a picture, and it turned into an issue. So the Egypt coach was going over to say something to his player. The police interjected, thinking he was confronting that player, and it became a whole issue. It was like, yo, what are you doing? Why'd you put your hands on me kind of situation? And of course, there's a language barrier perhaps, but the matter was resolved. But the video began circulating and talking about the issues that have been going on in the United States with regard to police, ICE, and other things, along with the issues that occurred with Iran being able to play in the World Cup and them having to stay in Mexico, drive in or fly in, and then immediately leave.
Yeah.
Which was create an unfair advantage for every other team, which FIFA is completely against FIFA policy. FIFA's policy is for all teams to be able to stay on site to make things as even as possible, which also runs into issues where fans will gather outside and be really loud in front of one team's hotel to try and give their team an unfair advantage, which occurred in Mexico versus England as well.
I've heard, though, that, teams are prepared for it. Noise canceling tech is real good nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think it's actually
no,
too
for
big
sure.
of a deal.
But England even booked 9 different hotels in Mexico City ahead of their game against Mexico to try and prevent the noise issue as well, which was also a fascinating thing. So, needless to say, there were a number of issues. But going from that bad issue, we go into one of the feel-good stories of the tournament.
Can't wait to feel good.
Cape Verde. A nation that only has
feels good.
530,000 people, which is basically Omaha, Nebraska, made it into the elimination round of the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
They had never qualified for a World Cup before, and they made it to the knockout stage in their first ever World Cup. They had a 40-year-old goalie who was half blind in one eye, and they almost knocked off Argentina.
That's funny.
Argentina needed extra time to survive, and Argentina won the last FIFA World Cup. It didn't come until the 11th minute, and even that was controversial that Argentina won. Many people think there was some bias officiating. Just the difference in the nation size is obscene. So it's an incredible feat by Cape Verde.
For perspective, Cape Verde have the same population as Tucson, Arizona. Their goalkeeper's in his 40s playing second division Portugal. The center back, Pico Lopez, who is marking Lautaro and Messi, they found him on LinkedIn. He was playing in the Irish League, which is basically considered semi-professional football with Shamrock Rovers. He saw the message on LinkedIn. He thought it was spam.
He thought it was fake.
Didn't even answer it for 9 months. And then he's like, wait, actually, let me see. And that's how he got into the Cape
basically
Verde
shut
national
down
team.
Messi during
and now
most of
he's
that
a starting
game.
center back in front of Vozinha to try to bring the team to extra time. I mean, there's stories that it feels...
It's truly an incredible story. This small nation coming up, beating giants, facing giants, a player coming out of Irish League. All of these guys, by the way, afterwards, almost every starter on their team has been offered a position in a Premier League team. They played so well that, I mean, this is even arguably one of the greatest goals in the history of the World Cup. I mean, he's outside the box, and look at this curve, upper corner by inches. It's up there in that corner, nails it, and that's against Argentina.
Yeah.
Like, by far the greatest goal in this World Cup. An incredible shot. I mean, these players have had so many opportunities come from this. It's truly incredible what happened. So, I mean, the number of people now that have searched up going there for vacation has been tremendous. Like, they put their nation on the map.
Cool.
And their goalie went from having like a few hundred followers to over 4 million.
Wow.
After their first game,
4
in which
million.
he had numerous incredible saves.
You know, I often do need to remember that, like, there's a lot of soccer fans out there. Pretty much every famous soccer player out there has unbelievable number of followers just because the whole world loves soccer.
Yeah.
They just love soccer so much.
I think Ronaldo at one time was the most followed person on Instagram,
Damn.
if he isn't already.
That's pretty cool.
Let me see what his follower count. 25 million. 25 million. He went from 50,000 to 25 million.
Yeah. Damn.
Insane. So
That's crazy.
all these people who, you know, were scraping by are now put their nation on the map. They've put their names on the map. People are very interested in their story, and they're getting opportunities that they never otherwise would have had if not for the World Cup, and really showcasing their ability there.
Yeah.
So almost all European clubs are interested in every player from Cape Verde, specifically the goalie who's 40 years old. So he might make enough money to retire after 1 year of playing in professional league, after just casually playing and working as hard as he can and continuing to play at 40 years old.
That's great. Hell yeah. That does feel good.
Told you. It's a really cool story.
Good.
Spain made World Cup history in this World Cup, being the first ever nation to win back-to-back men's women's World Cups. Ooh. By beating Argentina 1-0 Sunday, the 2026 World Cup final in New Jersey. The Spanish Football Federation has made history to bring home the first successive World Cup championships on the men's and women's side. Women's team winning in 2023 and will enter next year in Brazil as defending champions, while the men's team has been a perennial contender, appearing in 17 out of 23 World Cup tournaments. Their last win was in 2010 before it was this year. And the last thing in the final that happened, here are more controversies. FIFA denying that the ball hit the wire in England's first goal versus Norway. I don't know if you saw the video.
Wire? No, I didn't see it.
So there was a camera wire, and a lot of fans saw this, but there's a ball trajectory, and the ball had sensors this year that supposedly they detected a hair touching the ball that changed the possession of the ball. Meanwhile, I think it made the goal not count because of something happening. But there's here, I'll show you the movement of the ball. So this is clearly arcing. The ball is going deep. You see everyone retreating. All of a sudden, the ball is going to drop like here-ish. Like that ball changed trajectory and dropped straight down while it was continuing its play. So there was a motion capture arch I saw of it. Let me find it. All right, so it's a side view. This is a ball tracker. Up, bam.
Boodunk.
And I mean, you can tell just by the trajectory of the ball that ball was not going to stop that suddenly based on the player movement. So FIFA came out and showed the graph because the ball has a chip in it that can detect hits.
Yeah.
And they showed that it did not adjust. The interesting thing is the tracker doesn't necessarily mean that it can reach the height of where that ball is. Usually it's around field level for the distance where those are because the trackers are on the boundary, right?
Yeah.
So it's very likely that it went out of the range of those trackers for it to be able to detect if contact was made. And so by following this tracker, the 3D viewer, it shows that it hit something. My friend JP, who you know, he was at the match and he was watching it, and to him, he saw it hit something. So FIFA basically, that goal should have been disallowed because per FIFA's rule, if it hits something outside of the field of play, it's a drop ball.
Yeah.
Which means the ball is placed and possession continues. So that first goal by England should not have been allowed.
Because all the other players were running to where it was going.
And then it hit an obstacle, which by the rules would make it no longer continuation of play.
Yeah.
So the argument, and Norway contested the match, and if they had won, they would have replayed the entire game.
Well, you'd think they would have wanted that because then more points, but I guess England would have been pissed. But
yeah. But in the end, that wasn't the only controversy. That was the main one, because at that point then would change the entire scope of the game because Norway was up by 1 and England scored on that hit to even the score.
Could have made the whole thing change.
And the last thing, after the World Cup final ended, horrible sportsmanship. Argentina basically, this player, Paredes, choked Spain's Garcia after the World Cup loss. Tempers were flaring. And they clashed at the pitch at the end in physical confrontation. Torres' goal was scored in the 106th minute, winning 1-0 for the European champion Spain. Enzo Fernandez got a red card for on a foul on Paul Kerbarsi, reducing the reigning world champions to 10 players for a long time, and they added 6 yellow cards received by by the Argentinian team. This game was marred by a ton of fouls. I'm hoping this video eventually shows the video, but I don't know if it does. But here's a picture of it.
Oh, I see a hand around the throat.
There's videos online. I got to try and find
You
one.
get the whole thing taken down, and you can't play
Probably,
that.
yeah. And so the clash created a massive scuffle between both teams on either side. Lots of fouls. It was a heavily physical game, and Spain ended up winning, and Argentina at the end of the game did not handle it necessarily gracefully. That's not to say I don't know if Spain said anything as well, being sore winners or anything, but at the end of the match, it put a really negative damper on the final end to the World Cup and Spain's victory and Argentina's loss.
Damn. Run it back.
Yep. Just
Scrap
play
the whole
again.
thing. When do they do the next World Cup?
It's every 4 years. I'm pretty
Like
sure.
the Olympics.
Yes. And it seems that it is back to back. I thought they were staggered like the Winter and Summer Olympics are every 4 years, but 2 years apart. But it seems that it goes men's, women's, and then there's 2 years, and then it's men's, women's again.
I see.
So-
Okay.
Yeah. That's the basics of the World Cup, other than USA getting absolutely demolished by Belgium 4-0 in their elimination match. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Did you actually watch any World Cup games? Nope. I watched a few. They were free to watch online for the first few because of the broadcast. But
Just to get people hooked in.
yeah. And then they were like, all right, we're in the quarterfinals and semis. Pay to watch. Pay to view. Pay-per-view.
Well, there you have it. That's the entirety of the World Cup. Everything that happened in it.
Relatively, not every single moment, everything, but that was a basic recap of major events and headlines that occurred throughout the World Cup. If there's anything else you want to add, you can add it on the Reddit, reddit.com/r/GMFST. You can also yell about it in the comments on YouTube or on Spotify. Both of those exist. You can be like, this thing happened. This was cool. I like this.
Yes.
Love to hear about your favorite moments, your favorite things of the World Cup. If you got to go to a game or see something unique or meet a player or run into somebody or found something really profound and nice about the World Cup, we'd love to hear about it. There's plenty of negative that happened. We've talked about mostly negative, so I'd love to hear the good stuff. So please post that on the Reddit or in the comments. That would be great. Also, we have merch. If you watched last episode, Mark was threatening Little Fingy with a pair of scissors. He said he was going to murder Little Fingy unless you bought his merch. Since you guys wouldn't buy it to stop making him shiny or stop him from crying, he resorted to violent measures.
I don't remember doing that at all.
You did. You were here.
What do you mean?
Yeah, the whole time.
I don't think I did that.
Listen,
I'm pretty sure I
you
didn't
did
do that.
look a little different, but that's beside the point.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't me.
I think it was you.
I think it was an imposter.
You think it was an imposter?
Yeah.
Well, you need to save Little Fingy and go to store.gmfsc.com and buy some merch. All of it is being threatened. So that's Mark has resorted to.
Oh.
Anyway, if you want to buy some merch, go to store.gmfsc.com, get some merch. Wear something cool and cute like this Little Fingy right here.
Oh, wow. That's all a tiny fingy.
That's his name, Little Fingy.
It's a tiny fingy.
Little Fingy.
Little fingy.
Little Fingy. Any last remarks? Anything you want to add?
Apparently only the batter, pitcher, or catcher can call to challenge a pitch. Assistance from dugout or elsewhere is not permitted and will result in the umpire denying the challenge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people talking about the ABS stuff we talked about last time.
Oh, there you have it. You'd think that the coach would have been just like,
No! I also was corrected that the Seattle player, the Mariners player, is a regular outfielder. So I was incorrect on that. I got my wires crossed because the LA guy who did it afterwards was not a regular player. He was a bench player that would come off when somebody needs rest. So
all's good.
yeah, so that was a minor error of mine. So I apologize. Although the regular player should have known better. That's almost worse.
It is a little worse, yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.